This week's upcoming update is bringing in a lot of new stuff into the game, and of course we are going to be checking out everything that you need to know for the update that is coming on Tuesday, so let's get into it. So first things first, if you haven't already taken advantage of the string theory operation to get a whole load of XP towards your season pass rank 100 rewards, then make sure that you're taking advantage of the Mother's Day event that's coming out on World of Tanks. It is, as of the recording and publishing of this video, available for 3 days, and you will get 200% XP on your first win. How can you, as a player of the game, actually be able to take advantage of this? Well, essentially what you want to make sure that you're doing is jumping in every single tank that you own that is basically not had a first win. Do the first win on each of those tanks, you're going to get loads of XP. It does count towards both your contract stages, and it will also count towards your completion of the season rank 100 rewards and stuff like that, so you'll get extra points along the way. And this is a perfect way of you being able to do that. So I really do recommend that you go ahead and get as many of those done. And in the process of playing, you'll also be able to earn some emblems that, for those of you that are interested, basically just say Mum is for Mother's Day. And yeah, if you want to jump on and play, then you can get some emblems that you can stick on your tank. Now, of course, we had some new changes to the game in terms of last week's content, and we'll cover that just real quick. Of course, we had the Czech heavies that are now in the game. I really want to get your opinions on them, and hopefully we'll do a review of the tier 7 when I can actually manage to have some good games in it. But yeah, really decent kind of tech tree line. I don't think it's super overpowered. The tier 10 is very good, obviously boasting a 59% win rate right now in the game, which means that a lot of good players have probably free XP'd their way to get there since they're veterans of the game. They've probably got a lot of free XP and they're just wanting to get there as fast as possible, hence why the win rate is a lot higher. But to be fair, the tank is most likely going to be very good as well. So when you get good players playing in it and the tank is good itself, then that's why you're probably seeing this nearly 60% total win rate of this Czech heavy. So yeah, very much a tank that I want to get my hands on and test out in the game. Now, that's not the only thing in this month's kind of events that have been going on. Well, of course, we can pick up this free T23E3 Tier 7 American Premium Medium tank, and you can get that within the game. It is a very nice tank to play. If you like the T20, if you like the pattern, if you like any of those tech tree lines, then this is essentially a premium version at tier 7, and it is a fun one to actually play. I would recommend it. It's a super fast firing damage gun, so you're going to be able to do nearly 19 rounds a minute, roughly. So it's going to be an interesting one for you to play, and of course it is free, so make sure that you just complete the operation for that, and you'll be jobs a good one. Don't forget, you're also getting 50% more XP and silver on all of the Centurion Action X, TVP T5051 and UDES 1516 lines on the vehicles above tier 5, so make sure that you're grinding through any of those if you want to get there really quickly, and of course time that up with some of the Mother's Day challenges and you'll be able to do even more XP, and of course that is the 3 times XP on the first win in every vehicle. And then we have the actual changes coming next week. Of course, we've talked about the Czech heavies that were in the game last week. Now, there are some upcoming changes in terms of the Reforged event, which is Wargaming's way of buffing some of the tanks in the game. And the first one that we are seeing in this week is the M48A5 pattern line, and that comes in the form of 3 of the tanks: the T20, which is the tier 7, the tier 8, and the tier 9, the Pershing and the pattern respectively. And the first one is the T20, which is receiving gun handling improvements, making it probably more accurate, reducing the dispersion on the move. And so yeah, we're going to be seeing the tank performing slightly better, at least hopefully. And I actually really enjoyed the T20. It's a fantastic tank that you should be able to get your hands on and try it out. And then, of course, we've got the M26 Pershing, which is also a really good one. And this is going to be basically getting better stock setup so that you can effectively not be as terrible when the tank is stock, which is something Wargaming always get wrong with a lot of the tanks in the game. And then moving on to the tier 9, there is basically improving the reload time on the 90mm and increasing the reload on the 105 to balance the previous buffs, because apparently the 105 was a little bit too strong in the game. So yeah, we'll be seeing those changes coming in on Tuesday. Now, that's not it for the American tanks that are getting buffs. We're also seeing the premiums get buffs as well, and this is in the form of the T95E2, which will be getting improved penetration and better cupola armor, which is, of course, the little bulbous bit on the top of the turret, which everyone seems to be able to just pen. So maybe we'll be seeing that get slightly better, but hopefully not just an absolute fortress on the top. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then we've also got the Vengeance T25 and the base version, improved the penetration and mobility. We've got the Deathstalker pattern, which is the tier 8 version of the premium, well, pattern basically. And the base version will be getting improved penetration and reload, so that's good. And then the Undertaker and the base version will be getting the same buff for the penetration and armor. And then the next reforged hint is a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I don't quite know what this is. Obviously, it's a reference to something that is kind of traditional of the line. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you think the next Tanks Reforged is going to be. Obviously a hint towards something that Wargaming have planned. Now then, that is not it. We are going to be seeing a new tank in the game, and it is the Leopard VT2, and this tank is what it is. This is what it looks like. This is going to be a interesting thing that Wargaming are bringing in. Now, I don't know whether it's going to be a whole line of tanks, whether this is going to be a premium, which, to be honest with you, is what I'm assuming it will be. But yeah, I think that this is going to be an interesting one. It's going to have very, very, well, what looks to be strong armor. You can see the spaced armor on the turret here. You can also see that the front plate or the upper plate is quite thick. It's got this extra bit of spaced armor or thicker plate here. Obviously, the lower plate's going to be weak, got good side armor, a lot of space on there, which means heat isn't going to work very well. So I'm hoping that this can kind of rival the British FE 4211 or the FE 4211. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to do with this tank, in particular for the German line. And yeah, I think it could be some good changes coming in as well. So in addition to the new Leopard, we're also getting the Sharpshooter and Plaguebringer coming back as well. Now, the Sharpshooter is a mercenary tank and a mercenary contract that you'll be able to complete. It's a tier 9, which is a really decent one, actually. It's not overpowered. It's nothing like too magical that's going to make you somewhat like a crazy player in the game, but it definitely is a competitive one. And that's because it comes in the form of the 390 alpha damage that it can kick out, decent penetration values at tier 9, although the base penetration is a little bit annoying to come up against sometimes, but there we go, it's not too bad. 48 kilometers an hour top speed, which isn't bad. I'd probably maybe even boost that up higher with something like a improved traction or something like that to just increase the speed a little bit. 1700 hit points, not too bad whatsoever. You've got a very, very solid turret. Of course, it is the Chieftain turret. We've got then the T95 kind of hull, not the T95 in general, but the, you know, the American T95 hull armor. And then you've got these big spaced armor on the side, so it's looking like a pretty decent one to actually jump into. And then we've also got the 105, which is going to pump out that damage quite nicely. 10-second reload, not the nicest. 0.3 accuracy, definitely living up to its name with the Sharpshooter characteristic, so you won't really have much problem with the accuracy of the tank, so I would expect that most people are going to be putting on other things to boost up the rest of the tank rather than the reload. 10 degrees of gun depression, which is very, very good. You're not going to have any problems on a ridgeline, especially with the Chieftain turret as well. So in general, a tank that I would recommend you actually go towards for the contract, and I really do recommend everyone should jump in and do that. The Plaguebringer, on the other hand, probably not so much of a priority, but if you complete the Sharpshooter and everything else and you have time to do the Plaguebringer, then maybe you should do that. And then in addition to the contracts, you'll also be able to receive 5% bonus to silver XP and crew earnings if you play in a team, which I really do recommend you do. If you have people that you can play with in the game and you enjoy playing around, messing about with your mates, then platooning up is probably one of the best things, and it keeps the game fresh. I find when you play alone for a long, long period of time where maybe you just aren't having the impact that maybe you want to, it can be a little bit frustrating. So when you're playing with teammates that you know will do what you're kind of planning on doing, then yeah, it can be nice to play with, and it's always good when you jump into a group of people that you find to play enjoyable. Now then, there is also Brothers in Arms, so this coincides with the platoon up, which means that when you win 100 battles while in a platoon, you'll receive a top secret keycard, and that can be 1 per account. So effectively, if you play a lot in your platoon and you get to know the blokes who you're playing with or whoever it might be, then you'll be able to get a top secret keycard, which gives you about 400 gold if you get no premium or anything like that. But if you do get a premium, then it's even better. And of course, you could potentially get a premium that you already own and gives you like 12,000 gold or whatever the value of the tank that you receive doubled up is. So yeah, really, really good for that. Obviously only 1 per account. And then there's Boot Camp coming out as well, so you complete a series of challenges geared towards testing users' knowledge of tanking basics, and you'll earn the Jackal M4A4 FL10. So this is the auto-loading French Sherman, and it is a very, very kind of... It's not one that I've enjoyed, to be honest with you. I think it's a very underrated tank. I think it's a pretty mediocre tank. But yeah, I guess in the hands of someone that knows how to use autoloaders, you could have a good time, but in general, probably not. Now, there's been a few fixes this week that we won't go into because they're nothing too interesting, to be honest with you. So make sure that if you want to look at the fixes and see what's happened with regards to the actual gameplay performance, there is a couple of issues that they've kind of gone through, but you can just pause the video, have a look at them, and then carry on afterwards. Same with the weekly shoutouts. There's basically been some battle feats where people have managed to have some unbelievable games in various different tanks. Just pause the video and have a look at that. Now, there's also been some camos that Wargaming are kind of showcasing as well. So you can see this one, an interesting one. It looks like it's on the Skoda, so and one of the Czech heavies. So looking forward to potentially seeing this in the game. Always love the cosmetics that come into the game. Of course, let me know in the comment section down below what you actually think of the cosmetics. What tanks would you actually like to see being changed? We've got another one here, this pink kind of camo. Not sure if I like the look of this, but there we go. You know, it's I'm sure it will please some people. And so, yeah, I don't know what tanks I'd like to see, but we've also got some other news, not regarding necessarily the camos that you can purchase in the game, but also the skins. It looks like we're going to be getting the T110E4 skin coming into the game as well. We can't really showcase it here, but you can see in the background, the T110E4 looks like it's got this kind of traditional kind of webbing or meshing and stuff on it. So it's looking kind of interesting. This might even be the T110E3, let alone the T110E4. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what they have to say. And of course, if you want to jump in and watch the Wargaming podcast or stream or whatever you want to call it, basically they talk about all the tanks, then make sure to do that on twitch.tv and have a look at that on the Wot Console channel. But other than that, I hope you have enjoyed this video and you've enjoyed looking through the update news. Let me know what you think about it all. And of course, if you want to check out more content about some of the Season Pass tanks, some of the various different gameplay issues, and if you want to check out what happened last week with the Czech heavies, including their weak points, the key characteristics of them, then check out that video last week, which I will leave on the left-hand side of the screen, and the gameplay and tank reviews playlist on the right-hand side. So see you in those videos, and hopefully you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.